So I really struggle with transitions, whether it is from starting a video and stopping a video, or rest to non-rest, wake to, or sleep to wake. I don't have so much trouble with the wake to sleep part, but yeah, I struggle with transitions big time. And I'm just really realizing how much recently, just in the last week, I've made myself very aware of how much I struggle with transitions, because I realized that part of the reason why I'm struggling with getting started back running again is because I struggle with transitions. And that involves transitions like changing clothes, running, showering, putting on other clothes, that kind of thing. And so I was kind of in my head about the whole running thing. But it's not the only thing that I struggle with. Waking up in the morning is, I would say, my biggest struggle. I like being asleep. I don't like waking up. That's for sure. So it takes me a while to get up and out of bed, and I don't like getting out of the shower. And I definitely just have trouble moving from warm places to cold places, like out of the bed where it's nice and cozy and warm into the not as cozy and warm atmosphere of my house. Like, it's not cold in here most of the time, unless, power has gone out or something. Typically it's still pretty warm, but just the transition, getting out of that warm bed, it's really, really difficult. And getting out of the warm shower, that's hard. I use the hair dryer sometimes to ease that transition, to warm myself with the hair dryer. And just going from inside the house to the cold car, and I always dread going, the walk. No, I don't always dread, but if it's really cold outside, I dread the walk to and from my car and office. So those kinds of things really plague me and they set me back, because I don't know a lot of times how to make the transitions easier. But I've started learning, and a few things that I've done recently is for getting up in the morning, I need to get the blood flowing, and kind of like if I'm moving around, I start feeling better. Like we can do this. Get out of bed. So I've started doing snow angels in the bed. Just, doing the same thing you do to make a snow angel pattern in the snow, but in the bed. And, shaking my legs around a little bit, and just kind of shaking around, get moving and get the blood flowing. And then I will sit up and not get up immediately, because I don't want to pass out from standing up too fast. And so, but that makes it easier just to get up. It's just that little bit of activity in the bed under the cover before having to get out from under the cover. It helps. It's weird. And with the running, I had been just really in my head about the whole running thing, because I was worried about the injury and what would happen if I tried running on it too soon. And then I thought, well, what if I gave it plenty of time, but it is hurt worse than I really originally thought it was. since I didn't technically go get it looked at. So I was worried about it maybe failing me if I tried to run on it. And then I was like, what if it's so bad that I can't ever run again? Not being able to run again because you physically can't, and not being able to run again because you're just in your own head about it and too locked up with worry and not moving off the couch. And so, I had to just get over that. And I'm like, the only way I'm going to find out if this knee is going to be okay with me running is to get up and do it. But it's like I'm on the couch and I'm warm and cozy. And what do? Get up and change clothes, get cold again, and then get on the treadmill and get hot. That didn't sound like much fun. So one day I realized that I could just change into my running clothes when I got home from work instead of putting on like lounge clothes, PJs or whatever. I just put on my running clothes when I get home, my warm running stuff. And it's comfortable enough. Sit around in that. Brought my space heater into the room with the treadmill and turned it on right before I thought I might have enough energy to run. So the room was nice and warm and I didn't have to do anything. I cleaned the area around the treadmill, got it all set up. And so it was all set up for me. Nothing, the temperature was set up for me. My clothes were set up. The only thing that was left was for me to just get up and move from one spot to another. And it freaking worked. And I was able to run for the first time since October, or maybe even late September. I can't remember. That rhymed. But it was that transition was something that I was like dreading. So now it's like, why did I not ever think of that before? Why had I never just come home from work and put on my running clothes? I feel kind of stupid. Like, oh, wow. I guess I never paid attention to transitions and what a struggle they are for me. I would just think that I was failing at the motivation. But it's the transition. That was the big part of it. There was in this case, the dread for finding out the hard way that the knee was hurt worse than I thought. But just those transitions. And yeah, like the shower thing, it's not a struggle for me to get in there, but it's a struggle for me to get out. But using the hair dryer as a body dryer, it works way better than anything else. I don't like drying my hair with it. I only use it to dry off or to warm up with. But yeah, so transitions have just been kind of an issue, especially with the cold weather, because there's so many hot to cold transitions. I don't really enjoy it in the summer either, because in the summer it's like I'm going from cold air-conditioned spaces to hot outside, humid here usually, air, and then back into air-conditioned spaces, sweaty. And that cold sweat, especially with, if you are layered up in female undergarments, like, sometimes you are expected to do, it's miserable. But, and also layering in the winter it can be really a sensory nightmare for me. Like, there's sensory issues involved with the summer and the sweat and all of that too. the hot, cold, and then the sweat and the cold. It's gross. But in the winter, like, I feel claustrophobic in my own clothes in the winter time. And that's no fun whatsoever. But, yeah, once I got over that, if I felt better. And running is so important to me for processing thoughts and feelings and blowing off steam and just the, sometimes when I feel like I'm, just a soda bottle that's been shaken and ready to burst. Sometimes, not always, but occasionally, going for a good run will solve the issue for me. And just something about the activity, it just releases all of that energy. And typically, I find myself in that situation because of sensory overload. It's typically when a whole bunch of sensory stuff's been happening, like going from hot to cold places, having lots of layers on, feeling claustrophobic in my own clothes, having bright lights, loud noises. Like just the other day, I posted a post about, feeling bad. Just before that, I had to be in the office all week with sandblasting going on. And I have noise canceling headphones, but that stuff is so loud that I could hear it through my headphones. And, on the last day, my boss tells me I can go home early. And then I'm kind of at someone's mercy to, whenever I need like firewood cut and stuff. And I had a tree that's been down like since the spring, but I've been chipping away at it little by little as, as I go through my firewood and have places to stack new firewood. And so it was a nice weekend and the person was available. So it's like, I really do not want to listen to anything loud this weekend, but I'm kind of at their mercy. This kind of has to happen, I guess. And it did. And it, having had a week-long sensory onslaught of loud noises and irritating at that, wasn't like I was listening to metal all week. It was just loud, irritating, grinding, scratching, power tool noises. And so it was rough. It was really rough on my nervous system, and I had just had it. And there's not really a lot you can do about that once it's done, other than just spend time alone in a very quiet place with your sensory input completely controlled. And also, if you happen to be quite irritable due to all of the sensory stuff that you just got like hammered through the brain with all week, then you gotta, you're going to end up having to apologize for it later, most likely, and take some freaking accountability. I will apologize, and I encourage people to apologize if we let our tempers get the better of us from having been short with people because of sensory stuff going on. But holy moly, it was a lot. But just getting back on that treadmill, it was like so much better. Just running it off, just being able to run it off. And, whenever you have all kinds of sensory stuff that's affecting your mood and at everything, you know, how you feel physically and everything. And you don't, if you're trying to explain that sometimes to other people who don't have sensory issues, they don't see it as a freaking neurological thing. They think it's a freaking character flaw or something, and then that's even more frustrating. And yeah, that's sometimes like describing sense to a fish. But yeah, so I'm trying to work on ways that I can make those transitions go a little easier. And hopefully I'll keep being able to run. I'm not running much yet. I'm trying to build up to it, but just being able to do anything that's a good thing.